Welcome to Mindshock True Crime. This is the Maura series live Q&A 7th edition here. Haven't done a Maura in quite a bit, so we gotta catch up on everything and everything. Anything and everything in this case. Apologies for the technical difficulties in the streaming here the past day or so. It's been kind of glitchy on the YouTube side. Welcome walking in 4K, Clark Rice, Pinto Sack. As always, if you enjoy the Mindshock podcast, find it interesting and informative, want to help keep up awareness in unsolved cases, cold cases, wrongful convictions, and more, you can donate to our PayPal. Just check the link in the description. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell for notifications. Like and share. Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and Patreon. Patreons do get priority for case topic, logical analysis, co-podcast, or requests. You can also be a guest on the podcast depending on your tier. Questions, comments, theories, thoughts, suggestions, rebuttals, debunkings of any kind, leave them in the comment section. Unless, of course, you're with us here live. Then drop them in the live chat. You can also help support the podcast by becoming a YouTube member right here on YouTube. So this is a live Q&A, so the chat will dictate where this goes. I do have a couple things I want to go over in the case here since the last time we have visited. But yeah, I'll have the chat take it away at first, and then I'll go over a few things being discussed online recently, some interesting developments, wrinkles in the case, things that haven't really been discussed extensively that might warrant some closer examination. So yeah, I will let the live chat listeners, commenters start this off, and then I'll go through a couple things, and then we'll see where we end up. The biggest news, of course, from the past month is that Julie Murray has revealed that there is a new head of Maura's cold case, and supposedly there are 6 new leads. Interesting number. But, yeah, I mean, nothing disclosed, nothing came of it. Nobody's surprised by that. I mean, there have been statements like that coming out for years and years. So, yeah, not much there. Julie Murray also in our TikTok revealed that she talked to professors and co-workers at UMass. But they did say that they did not give the family access to Maura Murray's school email account, which is curious. A lot of curiosities. What are they hiding and why? We'll also be going over the CI situation, which of course gets a lot of discussion online. Clark says, Bruce, have you listened to the Baldwin jailhouse phone conversations posted by James Rener? Not very flattering, but not sure there are any bombshells. No, I have not listened to the jail calls from Baldwin. We can go over them if they're not super long, but yeah, no, I think it would have been, if there was anything there, I mean, I'm sure it would have been reported upon. Seems kind of strange for them to... I mean, if there was something there, I'm sure it would be discussed. I mean, there's nothing's been released with that. Naru Sasu 813 Maxwell Army. Christopher says Rener has a video talking about it with the clip. Yeah, let me check if Rener does a summary. We can go over that. But yeah, I haven't heard anybody mention any kind of bombshell in it. Rener's been covering the Amy Bradley case. And if you haven't checked out the Mindshock coverage on that here on this channel, the Bruce McGuire channel, check that out. Okay, so he does have a video. We can go over it. So let's see here. We'll go over his video real quick. See if there's any insight here, and then we'll go over a couple other points. And YouTube is, of course, still being glitchy. Let me see what's going on here. Okay. Why? Okay. Okay. Alright, this should do it. Okay. Clark says, between Baldwin Finkelstein and stripper girlfriend, perhaps JR posted to expose more of Baldwin's character. Yeah, I mean, there's no shortage of shady characters in this case, but the question is, what happened to Maura Murray?
Hey there, True. Hey there, True Crime Addicts. It's me, James Rener, with True Crime This Week. Ago, I brought you the story of left her car on the side of the road. Don't know what happened to her. It's a mystery to this day. I wrote a book about it, True Crime Addict. And so this is a very important new piece of info. And here's how Stefan popped up on the radar. He was arrested here in Ohio on several charges of animal cruelty. They got his fingerprints, fed it into the system, and it matched some fingerprints found in Maura Murray's car. So New Hampshire police reached out to Ohio police and said, hey, look, we got his fingerprints in this car. What can you tell me about this guy? Because he looks like a pretty good suspect. So that's when they did some digging into Stefan's background. He's a former West Point cadet. And I spoke to him before his sentencing. He admitted to knowing Maura. He said they hooked up a couple times. In fact, they got in trouble because she was found inside his dorm room one time, so they both got in trouble over that. And he helped her out when she got into more trouble at West Point when she was found passed out on a lawn after a night of drinking. So they were pretty close for a time. He says the reason his fingerprints are on in her cars, they were allegedly found on a CD or CD case, and his explanation is, well, they swapped CDs when they were students at West Point, though he finished it. He left early, just like her. He left in December 2001, and she left in early January 2002. So within a month of each other, they both left West Point. He says they exchanged CDs, that's why the fingerprint's there, but he is currently in prison here in Ohio, serving a 15-year sentence after being convicted of these animal cruelty charges. He's a very interesting person in this case. So the reason for this episode right now is I requested his calls from inside the jail that he was making to see if he happened to be talking about Maura Murray. And in fact, he did a couple times. So I'm going to play for you some of these calls from inside the jailhouse. You're going to hear him speaking to his girlfriend. And she mentions that, that I had called her. Her version of events, a little bit different from what actually happened. I did call her. I asked her several questions about Maura Murray. Never implied that he killed her, but wanted to get a little more information, see if he had ever talked to her about Maura. So that was the extent of it. She's got a little different take on that, and you'll hear her side of the story. You'll hear him talking a little bit about Maura. He also speaks to his older son at one point, just warning him to, not say anything on social media about this. So I found it interesting. It's not much, but I thought I'd share. Here are Stephen Baldwin's jailhouse phone calls.
Hello, this is a collect call from an incarcerated individual at Tri-County Regional Jail.
But I want to let you know that some guy called me from Ohio, a journalist today, and he was asking about your girlfriend that went missing from West Point, and he's trying to ask me if you beat me just like you beat all your other girlfriends. Some Ohio journalist that asked you what happened to that missing girl that you dated in West Point, that weird-ass freak-ass girl that went missing. They found your fingerprint in her car, and he was asking if I thought you murdered her and if you hit me like you hit the other girls.
I never touched that girl. I dated her for like a month.
Yep, so I was like, what are you trying to do? Get him a murder charge? He's in jail the rest of his life, you fucking idiot. I said, next time you call me, I will come down there and I will fucking kill you. I was like, you guys can suck a dick and choke on it. Every single one of you motherfuckers. So now they're calling my cell phone and harassing me throughout the day. So you should mention that to your lawyer, because that's not legal. They can't find my number on the internet and call me throughout the day and harass me and ask me questions like, do you beat your other girlfriend? Or did you murder that random ass weird bitch?
Just block him, okay?
So you need to talk to your lawyer about that, because if I get another call like that, I'm going to flip the fuck out.
Wait, can I do what?
I'm going to fucking hurt somebody. You need to tell somebody about it and fix that shit, because I'm going to fucking flip my shit.
Okay, I don't know anything about any of that. All I know is that one of the people who testified against me was friends with an ex-girlfriend, and she made up a bunch of lies about me. So
That's great. Well, now I'm suffering from that, and now I'm even more pissed. So wasn't pissed when I was still, more pissed now. You shouldn't keep fucking girls because you're bad at fucking girls. You're bad at being in a relationship with women, so why did you even fucking try? Like now I suffer because of your ex-girlfriend? That's ridiculous. So I don't know who that was, but figure that shit out, because I'm not getting calls like that anymore, or I'm going to be fucking pissed.
did you get a name?
No, I didn't get a name because I was focusing on the fact that he's trying to catch you for a fucking random ass murder charge on some random ass bitch that happened when you were fucking like 19 years old.
She went to when we were in the military.
I don't care where she went.
To New Hampshire.
Fix that shit.
I was in the country.
I don't give a fuck.
I know. And that's why I told you to pass that message on to Ed. I'm going to volunteer to take a lung test, and I'm just speaking up for myself because I always thought if I just was quiet and do the right thing, it's right in my way, and that's obviously not the case. So
I didn't send him that number. I just think we should ignore them, and you should talk to your people and just see what you can do about that, because it's wrong.
of course it is.
So I would set that up with someone who can do more than just Eric.
I don't know who that would be, but I guess I'm going to talk to a lawyer maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, a lawyer or something, because they will know what you can do. Obviously, I don't know the laws in Ohio because those laws absolutely seem butt-fuck stupid.
I mean, interesting lexicon, to say the least. But, yeah, I mean, there doesn't seem to be much here at all. It's kind of weird. Sure, but, yeah, I mean, I don't see anything of real substance here. Walking in 4K says, this chick is nuts. Adam says, I like James for the most part. I've shared back and forth with him a few times regarding persons of interest. However, ... No, James Renner is cool. I don't know why people hate on James Renner. Like, he's brought this attention, in other cases, more attention than any other person. So, Adam says, I think he made a mistake in being too trusting of some of the North Haverhill locals he spoke to early on. Yeah, possibly, and also just dismissing the popo right away. But also, like, he seems to believe yellow just at face value in the Amy Bradley case. So, yeah, he might just be a really nice guy that just believes people. I mean, I don't know. But, yeah, his journalistic work and bringing attention to cases is beyond reproach, in my opinion.
And everyone there is also retarded and mentally not there.
Sorry that you have to attack any of this.
Yeah, I didn't think I was going to get attacked after, but you know.
I didn't think I would ever even be found guilty in the first place.
Well, as a stripper, I'm not even as mean as those fucking old women.
If you have any questions, I have no problem answering them on a recorded line either. I have no problem answering any questions you have.
I don't have any questions. I know who you are. I'm hard to deal with, and if you don't do it to me, then why would you do it to someone who's mentally stable? No, I know that. I believe you. Shit, sometimes I hit myself in the face.
Well, so I know you don't want to hear about ex-girlfriends. But,
No, I don't. And if you bring it up, I don't want to hear about it. So don't. I don't care. I don't want to hear about it. All your ex-girlfriends are garbage and trash, and they're never going to amount to anything, and I make more than all of them as a fucking stripper.
I mean, this says more about this girl than than Baldwin here. I mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, wow. Pretty weird things to say.
So that does not fucking matter to me.
So, so this is kind of important. Did Kira talk to you about that investigator or journalist, whatever they called her?
Yeah, I've been ignoring any random calls. Like, yeah, I haven't accepted any of them.
What is that?
I said I've been ignoring all the random calls. My mom told me about that too.
Your mom?
That
Okay,
the journalist.
my mom can let her know. I mean, she won't from here. She just, I don't know if it's calling it bad times maybe. So, if they called you too?
I'm not sure. I might have gotten a few calls, but I've ignored all the spam calls.
Did Kira pass on that number from that journalist or whatever to you to give to Eric to tell him I want to talk to him myself personally?
I mean, I can try to find it, yeah. I guess my mom really is. She got called right in.
No, hold on. So, someone called Kira the other day.
Okay.
Basically asking if, like, she knew anything about, like, I had a few girlfriends that, like, passed away or went missing.
Yeah.
They're not trying to say, like, I had something to do with any of that. But, it's complete bullshit. I just want to make sure that you stay on social media, that you don't try and stand up for me. And, I'm going to stand up for myself. I've been too quiet. I've been too passive. And I'm just, with all this whole case, I should have stood for myself years ago. And I've learned my lesson. I'm going to stand up for myself now. But I just don't want you to try to stand up for me, okay? You know the truth. You lived there with me most of the time. You know.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything.
What's that?
I wasn't going to say anything, no.
Okay, good deal. Before that, you were like,
Yeah.
trying to stick up for me. I don't have to still let you do that. I want you to stick up for me. If time and place ever comes, or you need to write some kind of written statement or something, like, you can definitely do that at a certain time and place. Just not social media. Social media is not the time or place.
Yeah.
Okay, you understand what that's all about, right?
Yeah, I understand what it's all about.
Okay.
True Crime This Week is a Fearful Symmetry production. Photo and artwork are licensed through Shutterstock. If you like the cut of my jib, I have another pod questions behind our.
So yeah, not much there. Not much there. Yeah, he's very dismissive, and the stripper girlfriend seems pretty insane. But yeah, I mean, there's really not much here. So I don't know what to make of that. Clark says, I think the Rener probing might be making him very nervous, though, perhaps. Alonzo Mosley saying, James Rener is secretly the guy from Midnight Run in disguise. Clark says, I get the sense that Baldwin Finkelstein is worried he can't keep it contained and controlled. He's asking who is investigating him, worried. Yeah, that is, I mean, yeah. It's kind of hard to tell. I mean, if he's not responsible for bad, it also could be that he had nothing to do with what happened to Maura, but he might have had something to do with what happened to the other ex-girlfriend, so he's worried because of that. I mean, who knows? Christopher says he does seem worried about it. He seems agitated, yes. but for what reason we do not know. Or perhaps there are yet more ex-girlfriends that we don't know about, and that's making him nervous because just the probing. Clark says, a Finkelstein is a West Point term for a nerd who won't share answers. Wow. Wow. All right, let's move on to a couple posts I wanted to go over here on some of the subreddits. Most of them are controlled and sham subreddits, but occasionally some decent comments filter through. So, of course, there is the oh my user, oh my coincidence, or oh my on topics from 2008. He made a statement that Maura had a friend on Lime Kiln Road because this individual apparently lived on Lime Kiln Road himself. So is he talking about himself, or is he talking about someone else that he knows who lived on the road and they're not good people? And he's made, obviously, all these crazy statements over the years about various people, Mitch, some bikers, whatever, that might have partied and did something to Maura. Wallaby on Reddit stated the initial contacts posted in early 2008 were him going on rants about a few bad people in the area, like Claude Moulton killing Maura. Then he made a numbered list of info that he knew or believed regarding Maura being in the area. I believe it was the second thing he listed, that he heard she had a friend on Lime Kiln Road. I always felt like he knew what happened to some extent. He hated the police in the area. Many of his posts were bashing the police and Jeff Williams. I was thinking him or his son possibly knew Maura witnessed something bad happen to her, but I've also wondered if he was the person who possibly lured Maura up there, because he was all over social media and New Hampshire forums as far back as 2006, posting under different aliases. Edit, one more thing. He was in the newspaper for impersonating a police officer at Walmart. At Walmart. People of Walmart strikes again. He also hovered all over the New Hampshire forums in 0506, posting under different aliases, but his oh my alias, everything about going on in Vermont, New Hampshire, seemed to somehow know all this shady info and have some type of connection. Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, it seems like he definitely knew something or was reporting rumors that, you know, maybe he believed to be true, whether they were or they were not. So that is curious. Very, very curious. So someone else apparently also said that he was a talent recruiter of dancers for the Barge Inn, for the shady Barge Inn. Check out the previous episodes in the More Murray series. I go over all of that. That would definitely put him in the company of a lot of shady individuals to know all of this information. So yeah, the oh my user from topics definitely, I mean, there's just something weird about the posts. It seems like there might be something to it. Wallaby says, when I spoke to Julie about this guy, she considered him worth discussing and welcomed any future tips, info on him to be sent to the cold case unit. According to her, this same guy also threatened Fred Murray at some point. Interesting. Someone asked if he had a son around Maura's age, and supposedly he did. Supposedly he had a MySpace page. It was linked to his father's MySpace, and his father is on Maura's MySpace as one of Maura's friends, the Now Tribute page. That's weird. So this would have been before 2013. And this is if this individual is the same individual that is oh my, and I'm not sure that's ever been definitively verified. So, yeah. I mean, I think that warrants more discussion. So, okay. So another interesting point that is just recently brought forth, also by Wallaby, pretty much single-handedly charging forward new info in this case, is that supposedly Haverhill Police Department refused to provide Maura Murray's report in order to get her case on America's Most Wanted. This is indeed a curiosity, like many others in this case. Obviously, the Maura Murray case, perhaps the highest coincidence and anomaly stack in any true crime case ever. Ever. If anybody has another one, I mean, it's tough. It's tough to find a case with more anomalies and coincidences. That's why coincidence theorists really love this case. I mean, there's more coincidences to write off as mere coincidence than any other case ever. It's like they're addicted to it. They're hovering over it. So, yeah, supposedly, according to John Walsh, the Haverhill authorities would not provide them with a police report so that they could feature Maura on their show. A missing persons police report is a public record. This happened a short time after Maura was missing. So, yeah. I mean, I have no idea what's going on with the Haverhill Police Department. I mean, what about the other officers, too? Other than Cecil? Other than Williams, there was a few other officers on duty that night. I don't think they've ever come forward to make any statements. Curious, very, very curious. What is going on in that area with the Popo? Clark says, Bruce, since there is no evidence of a body, no evidence of foul play, no evidence that Maura Murray was even in New Hampshire, car notwithstanding, credible possible sightings, many estimate reasons for leaving, could we run a logical argument from Maura being alive? We spent a lot of time on possible suspects. Is there even a crime? Let's discuss the she's alive hypothesis. Well, I don't think anything I've ever been discussing means that she's not alive. It just, apparently these POIs are people that possibly sought to do her harm. But I always bring up, if Billy Roush is the good guy, and he was scrambling there to save her from some situation, I mean, yeah, none of it, it's kind of open-ended. None of the theories I ever really discuss involves her actually being killed. But it does involve people wishing to do her harm, and perhaps other people saving her. Now, if it's some kind of local situation, perhaps, if it's a Claude Moulton locals killed her situation, then yes, that would be involving her no longer being alive. But a lot of these other theories, yeah, that leaves the door open to her being alive, of course. Christopher says, who is actually still investigating this? The school cops released all those documents as if they were done with the case. Yeah. Adam says, I really hope we have a friend coming to join us here. They worked with Fred and Healy early on and know many of the local rumors, locations that were searched, names, etc. Yeah. I mean, YouTube's still really glitchy, so I'm hopefully if they're coming, hopefully they get here soon, because I don't know how long this stream's going to be uninterrupted with YouTube issues, and then I don't have to keep, like, ending and coming back and all that, so, yeah, just, hopefully they can bring some interesting info to the table. Clark says, what would you say are the major situations people she was fleeing if not a CIA recruit? If not. Well, then, I mean, there's the old theory about Bill Rausch, her being pregnant possibly and wanting to have nothing to do with Bill Rausch, or pregnant or not, just going away from Bill Rausch. Or there's another situation there, perhaps a drug, there was one of the largest drug busts in her dorm. You got Whitey Bulger's, the Whitey Bulger connection with the chancellor of UMass. Just all the drug Operation Candy Box, all that stuff that we went over previously with possible drug trafficking through the school. Even if she's not a CI, she could have possibly just been involved with some bad people and was fleeing, trying to start a new life or whatever the case to escape those particular people. I mean, that's really the only... I mean, I can't really think of too many other plausible options. Unless she was just that stressed out over school and was just looking to get... I mean, it sounds like it's weird. It kind of sounds almost... It almost sounds silly, not to spam fallacies here, appeal to incredulity fallacies. It almost sounds silly if this was much ado about nothing and if she was just stressed out from clinicals. Like, it just seems kind of weird. It seems like there's definitely something going on here. I mean, this is a incredible athlete. A West Point cadet. I mean, she's mentally strong. She's physically strong. I mean, it's just... Not that it's impossible. Obviously, there are people who struggle with mental health issues that you wouldn't think. So not that it's impossible. It's just, given what is known, it just seems kind of weird if she was just looking to get away for a couple days. It seems like there's something else going on. Clark wants to do a poll. Is Maura really missing? Okay, sure. Poll is up. Is Maura really missing? Christopher says maybe she was smuggling on her track meets. I don't know. There's just... It's like... I've said this so many times. It's like there's a piece of the puzzle missing. And we don't know what that piece is. And there's so much shady behavior from Silent UMass, from Haverhill PD, just from everywhere you look, things don't make sense. You have guerrilla ontology going on here with Discordianism. All these Illuminati references within her name of guerrilla ontology. Yeah, it's messed up. Clark says, of course you know my position on this aspect. Yes, Clark Rice has his sighting. 2 sightings in a single day of Maura Murray. And again, a lot of these theories do not involve her being killed. There's just some kind of situation went down that night, and we don't know what that situation is. But there's a lot of people behaving strangely over said situation. 67% say Maura Murray's not really missing. 33% say yes. Okay. All right. Final post I'm going to go over before having the live Q&A continue this on is the UMass Confidential Informant Program. Attractive Nuisance posted this. I went to UMass in Maura's time frame. This was 04. CIs were utilized by all 3 police departments at the time. It's important to note Hadley PD, Amherst PD, and UMass PD all had different policies. Only UMass has published anything about it. It is from 2014 as they evaluated it. And even then, the task force mentions the secretive nature of the program made information gathering hard. Worth mentioning, UMass students were the target. UMass PD needed students to catch other students. Which again, that reminds me, the Patrick Vassy hit and run. Patrick Vassy had a handgun in his dorm room. I mean, for whatever reason, people just write that off. I mean, how many students at UMass had handguns in their dorm rooms? I mean, I'd be curious to get an estimate on that. In 2004, pre-decriminalization, getting caught with marijuana was a criminal misdemeanor, and UMass had additional disciplinary proceedings. A 2014 policy change was made to prohibit using a CI caught for marijuana for buying heroin. The policy was updated to say you could only use a CI to buy the same drug they were initially caught with. Much fairer. UMass made the case that drugs were such a huge problem that they needed student CIs to make a dent in the problem. UMass had 60-plus officers and still needed CIs to work with. Student Legal Affairs reported 30 cases of assisting student CIs in the year before the program wound down. Potentially way more CIs than 30 operating at UMass. But coincidence theorists will hallucinate that CI situations are complete impossibilities in the Maura case. UMass CI was typically only active 6 months. These weren't career criminals, just kids caught with an ounce and scared to tell their parents. The program leveraged students' fears of a record and disciplinary proceedings at school in order to use them for a fairly dangerous task. Only 2 officers were typically aware of a CI's existence. Files were kept in a special locked box to protect CI identities. No charges or arrest record was the promise typically made to CIs. Confidential informants can and sometimes are used in the investigation of non-drug crimes, most notably in investigating employee theft. From September 2012 to February 2014, 49% of UMass PD drug arrests were based on CI cooperation. In 2013, UMass PD reported 57 violations of drug law, resulting in 22 arrests. Okay, I didn't start out thinking Maura was a CI. I'm on the fence about it, but having gone to UMass in her time frame, I realized how many assumptions are made about CI programs, and UMass's student CI program was unique. Also, many of us in 2025 think of marijuana possession now as no big deal, when it really was a big deal in 2004 with stigma and major consequences for your future. 5 of my friends at UMass ended up with drug convictions. So, yeah, very curious. Another post here from a user since deleted. I've recently been wondering about Maura being a CI, but not for UMass, but rather for Canadian law enforcement. There is an agreement between the two countries called the Integrated Cross-Border Law Enforcement Operations Act. It was only assented to in June 2012. It is basically an agreement that allows law enforcement from both U.S. and Canada to cross borders to carry out their arrests. Although that agreement only came about after Maura's disappearance, there might have been some unofficial deals being made prior to 2012, and that's a good point. There's a lot of unofficial operations going on between agencies all the time. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean it happened here, but okay. A lot of drugs are smuggled across the U.S.-Canadian borders, and Maura's security desk job would have probably made her witness to some strange activities. There were also a lot of Canadian students at UMass. Although Maura was quiet, she did confide in some people. I've been thinking maybe she mentioned wanting to disappear, start a new life to a Canadian student with connections to Canadian law enforcement. She allegedly had a new boyfriend, maybe he was Canadian. He could have had her meet with Canadian law enforcement or someone close to Canadian law enforcement in order to make some sort of arrangement, like a new life in exchange for info on drug dealers at UMass. She might have met this person through a friend of hers who has family in Canada. Interesting. Definitely interesting. So those are the main points I wanted to bring up. But completely dismissing a CI situation, I mean, that's kind of weird. Donna in the chat says, I think many of these missing cases are crisis actors. Too much weirdness. Walking in 4K says, Aaron Larkin has seemingly disappeared as well. Adam says, someone who made a video recently on the case had an interesting theory. Rumor they theorized that North Haverhill actually had a ring of sexual predators who pretty much had been helping each other prey on victims for years and pretty much covering for each other, including the chief of police. Walking in 4K says, Maura Murray's either dead in the woods or she was hit by a New Hampshire Police Department officer en route to the Saturn call, in my opinion. Clark says, I think of the available options, those two scenarios are both unlikely, especially died in the woods. Yeah, there were pretty extensive searches, including, I think they did thermal imaging from helicopters. Like, they were even seeing the tracks of foxes. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Getting a little bit of lag here, so this is not going to be a long episode. I'm going to round this out in a minute here. Adam, if you're, if whoever's joining us is ready to join us, because, yeah, YouTube's been really glitching and I'm getting a lot of lag now. So, not going to be going too much longer here. There was a lot of agency activity. You had the DEA activity in the area, the small hamlet in the middle of nowhere. U.S. Marshal activity. I mean, it just seems something weird. It's like Maura's case intersected with something. Maura intersected with something, either knowingly or unknowingly. What if her boyfriend was some kind of undercover FBI? What if he roped her, like her other boyfriend or whatever? I mean, maybe she broke up with Bill Roush. We don't have a, you know, who knows? If her friend or current boyfriend, whoever, the person maybe she was at the liquor store with, if that was undercover FBI, they would never, ever release that video. So perhaps something intersected somewhere. Perhaps he was using her. I mean, we don't know. Walking in 4K says, I don't know, those woods, I'm local, are insanely thick and filled with holes, areas she could have hidden out and died in. Yeah, anything's possible. Anything's possible. But, I mean, the amount of searches, I mean, it's not like this was some case where there was only, like, 1 or 2 initial searches. Like some kind of missing 411 case. I mean, there were so many searches over the years. Like, yes, theoretically anything is possible. This is, of course, Mindshock, where the only thing we know for sure is that we don't know anything for sure. But how would that explain all the weirdness at UMass? All the weirdness. I mean, it's just, it's weird. Donna says, why are there so few pictures of Maura? I wouldn't say there's that few. I mean, there are very few videos. I mean, I could play, you know, pretty short collection of videos. And I did say that was kind of weird. I did find that kind of weird. Not too much video footage of Maura. Donna says, none of her as a child with siblings and parents. I mean, yeah, there's childhood pictures. I don't know about videos. This is one of the most famous photos of her with family siblings. Walking in 4K says, I think the lack of video footage is a symptom of the times, nothing more. I don't know. I mean, I thought there'd still be more. I mean, I remember even in the late 90s, like just grainy cell phone. People were doing cell phone videos in the late 90s. Definitely by 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. Not to mention, like, they had the super cheapo handheld camcorders. So, I don't know. I mean, it's not like they were dirt poor. I mean, they might have not been super well off, but it's not like they were the poorest people ever. Clark says, when I see the video, I'm even more sure of what I saw. Christopher says, phones and cameras weren't as common enough. Or they were common enough. Definitely by I would say 02, they were pretty common. I mean, not every single person had one, of course, but within, a family or a group of friends, there'd be at least one or two. So there should be way more footage. Nicole says she's probably a made-up person for social media. Facebook was invented a few short days after she went missing. Isn't her case the first missing persons case in the social networking era? Yes, it is, but I don't know. For some reason, I'm not leaning that way. I think there's enough here, especially around the time of her disappearance, that I mean, for her to be made up, I mean, that's just quite a project, right? All the people that knew her, just all the countless hours of interview. I mean, it's just such a project. Christopher says, but we weren't filming everything. I mean, yeah, not everything all the time, no. But, yeah, sometimes. Filming occasionally, yeah. All right, so anything else people want to discuss? I'm probably going to round this out here. Just wanted to do a quick update with just some more points to go over, some more points to ponder. So there's a new head of the cold case unit. Supposedly there's a minimum of 6 new leads. So what that means, I do not know. Clark says, Bruce, based on evidence, do you think Bill was at UMass that weekend or rendezvous on Monday? His leave paperwork is very sus. Donna says, never saw that pic before. Thanks, Bruce. Yeah, there's a couple. It's not like there's only 1 or 2. There's probably at least 10 childhood photos, which is not a ton, but there's not 0. There's not only 1 or 2. So, yeah, based on the evidence, I don't know if Bill was at UMass, but I'm definitely not ruling it out. I don't see how anybody could rule out that Bill was at UMass based on all the shady evidence provided that he was at Fort Sill. So yeah, I haven't seen anything definitive that he wasn't at UMass. For sure. Nicole says, I always thought she stole something other than makeup while at the academy. Maybe a government secret or saw something. So Clark says that, I believe Clark verified that it was a security officer who visually saw her pocket makeup or whatever. But that doesn't mean something else also didn't happen, of course. But yeah, connection's breaking up here. Lags coming in, so I'm gonna finish the stream here, but I will definitely be doing another one without such a long break. I'll try to give a bigger heads up, Adam. So hopefully any early on investigators can join us. So thanks again, everybody, for joining us for another edition of the Mindshock podcast in the Maura Murray series. This is Bruce McGuire signing off. Catch you guys next time.